The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 492.
Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a yoga teacher, and I'm really excited to have her on today to share her story with us on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Kristin Calabria. Kristin, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Sure, I'm doing well. I'm a yoga teacher. I live in New York City, and I actually moved to the city a little over 4 years ago, almost like 4.5 years ago, initially to pursue acting. And along the way, kind of found myself into like a journey of helping people in their daily lives, which led into fitness and teaching yoga and having private clients. So that's kind of like my day-to-day life is just a lot of yoga and a lot of joy.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think, it's great that even though you went to New York for one thing, you were open to go to a different route, which makes more sense to you. So I know sometimes when people go to a different route, they don't understand it, but they just, you just went ahead with it. You went with your gut feeling and took action. So thanks for sharing that. And Kristin, what's your cultural background?
I am half Chinese and half Italian. So I'm mixed race. But somebody the other day told me about, like, I always say, like, oh, I'm like half this, half that, which kind of makes it sound like you're not enough of anything. And they were like, what if you reframe that? And we're like, I'm fully mixed. I'm fully, like, I'm fully half and half. So I thought that was a great way to reframe.
Awesome. And I like that term too. It sounds good. I mean, I'm fully mixed. I mean, whatever it is, we're still all human beings, right? No matter,
Exactly.
And, half Asian, half this, half that. It doesn't matter, right? It's like you're a person. So, I think it's great. I also enjoyed that term. So thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
So my favorite quote is, I tore myself away from the safe comfort of certainties through my love for the truth, and the truth rewarded me. And why I love that quote is because, like, we have all of these things in our mind that we are like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. We label ourselves. And in that way, we almost put these like constraints on who we could be or what we could do, what we could possibly achieve. And I feel like the self is a constantly evolving thing. So if you are more interested in looking for the truth of the moment, the truth of who you are, like beyond all of the labels, beyond all of the identifiers, then you will always be rewarded in the end by finding the truth instead of trying to fit into somebody else's idea of who you are.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's a real great quote that you mentioned. And yeah, especially, growing up as women, we're always defined to live a certain way, not realizing there's a truth inside us that we need to, show or live or act by. And if we don't do it, that's when like our confidence goes down because we just feel like we're inadequate. But if you go out there and do it, like you mentioned, it comes back to you. So thanks for sharing that. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
So I really see self-confidence as being able to show up as your authentic self. And I think that's really hard for a lot of people because especially in this world that we live in today, like, again, we are told who we're supposed to be. We're told like the ways that we're supposed to show up in certain places and certain environments. And I think that's really inhibiting to any person. It's like you're less able to speak your truth and to go after the things that you really want and to say no to the things that are not like on your truth barometer. And so to me, being confident is being able to bring all of the self, like the things that you think are flaws, the things that you think are amazing, bring all of that into every moment and act from that place of authenticity.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Kristin, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
So before self-confidence, I was trying to fit in. I never felt like I had fit in or belonged anywhere in my young childhood years growing up. And so I think because I was trying to be so many other things, I didn't know who I was. I felt a lot smaller than I than like my personality actually was. And I never felt settled or grounded. And I had a hard time kind of discerning, what is it that I want? Where is it that I want to be? And I would kind of just follow paths that people said, oh, this sounds like a good idea. Like, you should do this, instead of asking myself, is that what I really want to do? Do I want to be like studying math and science right now? Or do I want to go to school for acting?
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something we all go through, right? You know, there's like two ways that are pulling us apart, right? There's one way where we're taught to live, you know, the way that we're supposed to be living, what we're told to live. And then there's another part. It's like, well, what if I can live this other way, right? Like, this would make me happy. I would be my true self, you know, it'd be enjoyable. And we get so caught up in it, we don't know what to choose, right? What was that moment in your life when you realized you can just go out there and live your life to your design and be that confident person? What was that aha moment?
I feel like my aha moment has been a collection of like all of my life. Of being almost like being able to recognize and see like through really compassionate eyes, like this person who I used to be, and then having a bunch of mentors in my life when I went to college who encouraged me to take ownership over my own ideas and my own heart and learn how to like take care of myself. And I think it was through like actually my acting training of learning how to show up as my whole self that made me realize the things that I had to say, the ideas that I had, they were just as important as these people who I was trying to be like.
Thanks for sharing that. And, you know, because of those realizations, what's your life been like now?
My life has been so interesting. I have found that like the more that I show up as myself and not as somebody else, the more that I own my ideas, I own my heart, and I'm able to speak truth into the world, the more like things come back to me. My life is more joyful. I've had like so many more opportunities to do the things that I love because I am putting my whole self into my work.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's a great lesson to learn. Like, once you show your true self, your, you know, authentic self, like, you know, the things that you've always wanted will come back to you. You know, so many people are so afraid to show them true selves because they feel like they might lose that promotion, that job, the business, the deal, whatever it is, right? But, you know, in that moment when you just let everything go and just be who you truly are, like, that's when like the actual magic happens. And, you know, you're a great example of it. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would say that this journey of self-confidence, it's not linear. Like most things in life, there's not like a straight path. Every person has to carve out their own path. And there's still moments in my life where I doubt like my own truth. And what I have done is created kind of like a little toolbox of exercises or meditations or practices that I can go to when I'm feeling like I'm not enough, to remind myself that I am. So even in those moments of doubt, realizing and recognizing, yes, I am enough, is kind of like the biggest piece of advice that I can give.
Thanks for sharing those great tips. I do the same thing as you do. I always tell myself I am enough because I have moments where I doubt myself. Well, actually, I have a lot of moments where I doubt myself, but I always have mantras that I tell myself that I'm enough, I'm worthy, I'm loved, and I keep going, right? And that's the thing. We all go through moments of self-doubt, but it's just pushing through that is what makes it count. Like you having your toolbox of ways to keep you going. I think that's a great idea. So thanks for sharing that. And Kristin, if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yes, so my website is kristincalabria.com, and on all of the social medias, my username or my handle is at KSTAR Collabs, so K-Star Collabs.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Kristin, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Kristin's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I just want to really thank Kristin today for sharing her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Kristin.
Thank you.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.